Welcome to the Two Money Guys podcast. We have an incredible show for you today. We have Andrea Joy from Saving Joyfully. We also have ways to keep your New Year's resolutions and not go crazy. But first, let's roll that intro. Welcome to the Two Money Guys podcast. I am the middle-aged money man, Robert Rio, here with your money geek, Michael Dinich. With the holidays speeding at us and the new year staring you in the face, today's episode is all about New Year's resolutions. How to make them, how to keep them. And if your treadmill has become the world's most expensive clothes hanger, then you need to listen to this episode. Michael, what resolutions have you made in the past that you never kept?
All of them.
All of them? Yeah, that sounds like me.
Yeah, I'm notorious for breaking my fitness resolutions. I do really good up until, the summer rolls around.
Yeah, so you're that person in the gym for like January, February, maybe March, and then you're out of there.
Yeah, but I'm the one that has like the home gym equipment. So I'll get like on a fitness kick, and then I'll buy like the latest home gym hotness and like supplements and that kind of stuff, and then usually fizzles out halfway through the summer.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do, except I don't make it to the summer. I'm good for like a month, and then I'm going to eat right, and then I'm eating right, and I'm taking all these supplements, like you said, and then pretty much, one or two snacks sneak in at work, and then it's just, well, I had that snack, I may as well have another one, and then another one, and then it just all goes down from hill. It's a terrible snowball effect. Going to the gym, fitness, eating well, it just doesn't work out for me every year. I quit making that resolution. Well, speaking of resolutions, we would like to thank JRC Insurance Group for sponsoring the Two Money Guys podcast and invite you to contact them to get the best price on life insurance for the new year. They make it quick and simple without making you enter any personal information, making it easy to keep at least one New Year's resolution this year. So make sure you contact them and make sure you get the best price on your life insurance. And now into the article. Today's article comes from Think, Save, Retire and is written by Steve Adcock. It is entitled A Guide to Developing New Year's Resolutions That Actually Work in 4 Steps. And the first thing that sticks out at me is the first line in big, bold letters. Most of us suck at developing New Year's resolutions. In fact, about 8 in 10 resolutions fail by February. I am definitely one of those 8. I am in fail mode by February, if not before. It's definitely, I'm in that statistic. Speaking of statistics, this article has a graph taken by Cision through Statista on people's 2018 resolutions. And believe it or not, it looks like saving money is number 1. Can you believe that?
I'm a little surprised. I would have thought that it would have been like losing weight or getting in shape, but it looks like that's actually number 2.
I mean, it's number 2 by like 8%.
Yeah.
That's even above have more sex, travel more, and find love is down there at 15%. I thought that would even be higher than what it was.
Yeah, nobody's looking for love. They just want the money and sex.
They'd rather quit smoking than find love. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Money and sex, who needs love?
People are reading more books than finding love. Yeah. It's great. But, that is wonderful, actually, to see that in people's New Year's resolutions is to save money by a pretty big margin, which is great. And you can't blame people nowadays. I mean, it really is a big movement with the economy the way it is and or the way it was. You really need to think about that. And I think it's weird, but saving money has almost become the new losing weight, right? It's kind of weird.
Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, everybody's talking about it. There are programs now, books about it, and everything else. It's almost like For every weight loss program you see out there, you see a financial book on how to, get out of debt and save money. They're almost competing on how many books they can have out there at the same time. So, why wouldn't it? It's all mainstream now. So of course it's going to be a resolution. But let's take a look at these 4 steps. The first step, reflect before you resolve. So you need to look back at 2018 or whatever the previous year was, but here we're talking about 2018. Look back at 2018. See what you want to change, why you want to change it, how you can go about changing it. Make sure it's realistic. If you are in that, I want to lose weight, make sure it's a realistic goal. Don't say I'm going to lose, 200 pounds or 100 pounds in 3 months. It's not going to work. It's not realistic. And then when you can't do it, you're just going to be disappointed. And, I didn't achieve my resolution again. And, same as last year. It's not going to work that way. Make sure they're realistic. Make sure they're achievable. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. As you reflect, Michael, reflect, look in the mirror, look deep into your own eyes. What are you reflecting on in 2018?
Well, the one thing I really like in the article is he kind of points out, some of the things that you can look on that were maybe, stress points over the course of the year. So he kind of pointed out, is your career stressing you out? Is money stressing you out? And really focused on those things. So this is something I'll probably have to do to get better at keeping my own New Year's resolutions. I'll need to spend the next couple of days going through and kind of reflecting on, what kind of things, really kind of introduce stress through the year. And, one thing I'm probably guilty of is work-life balance. 2018, I put a lot of work into a lot of side businesses and hobbies and side hustles, as you know. And so, one thing I can certainly probably could do that have maybe a little less stress in my life is kind of work on my work-life balance.
I'm right there with you. I put in between my 9 to 5 and my side hustles, my wife and I and my children are passing ships in the night. It's unbelievable when you add up all the hours, how much time you put into this stuff. And I do that every year. I go back and I say, I analyze my career and I analyze the things I've done and was it worth it? What did it do? Was it productive? And it's good to do that every year. Kind of take a mental inventory and say, yeah, those things were good. Nah, I might not have to do those things next year because the time wasn't worth it. It's good to reflect on that and just see what worked and what didn't work for you.
Agree.
Step 2, make them specific. So going back to weight loss, which is still number 2, their example is the difference between 2 resolutions could be this year I want to lose weight and get into shape, or this year I want to lose 30 pounds and run 5 miles without stopping. The second one is very specific. If you just say I want to lose weight and get into shape, that's vague. I mean, what does that mean? Nobody's going to know what that means. But if you put an actual goal to that, then you can achieve something and say, well, now I achieved that. It's done. Same thing with finance, with money and saving more money. If you say, I want to put this percentage of my income into an investment at a certain time of the year, then that is actionable. That is achievable. Not just, I want to save money. Well, what does that mean? You could save $100 and that you saved money. You achieved it technically, but did you really achieve anything? I don't know. So if you put specifics with it and goals to say, I want to, this year, I'm going to change my 401k to put 12% in it instead of the 8% I was putting in before. I'm going to take 10% more out of my income and put it into this high yield savings account. And I'm going to, and you have actionable goals and you have an actual end that you can calculate. That's what you want to do. And give yourself a deadline. Check up on yourself throughout the course so you know where you are in regard to that deadline. Step 3, make sure they solve a problem. Your goals should really solve a problem. They shouldn't just be vanity goals. They should be something to keep you motivated. Your goals shouldn't be just to go out and I want to buy the latest iPhone next year. That's not really a goal. Your goal should solve a problem. should solve a larger, be rooted in, according to this article, be rooted in a larger purpose. Going out and saying, well, I want to, have nicer clothes this year. Well, that doesn't really solve anything. It does not really a goal that you're going to stick to. It doesn't really solve any issue in your life. It's not going to keep you motivated. What examples can you think of, Michael, as far as a problem that's motivational, rooted in a problem, and maybe one that isn't?
Well, the one that isn't, he gives the example of making a resolution to go and buy a Dodge Viper.
Yeah. I would love to buy a Dodge Viper. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, me too. But I'm just thinking back to that survey, and maybe people are buying these Dodge Vipers to solve their love and sex problems.
That's right.
So maybe that is solving a problem.
It's all intertwined. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So maybe it does solve a problem.
Maybe it does.
And step 4, give yourself small achievements to unlock. It's almost like gamification. I mean, are you familiar with that word?
Yeah.
That's like it's gamification. Gamify it. I mean, it's like small achievements to unlock. So as you're reaching toward these goals and achievements, give yourself little goals and almost make it like a reward. Like, hey, I reached a quarter of my goal to save. Now I've unlocked this little achievement, and break it up into goals. Make it celebration. Give yourself a little celebration at these little achievements. And that's what you have to do, because if it's something that's difficult to achieve and you're just waiting until the end and it's just getting monotonous and it's boring, and give yourself these little celebrations throughout the thing, and you're going to keep yourself going.
Yeah, they make all the difference. It's just like when you're working out or whatever. It's just like having a cheat day.
Oh, I loved the
5-6 days a week. You eat on point and everything, and then you have that one day where you're like, yeah, we're going to have pizza and wings. It makes it so much easier to stick to a diet.
I thought it was 6 days of pizza and wings and one day eating on point. But anyway, that's how my workouts worked. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably why you're having trouble getting off that couch.
The app is supposed to do it for me, the Couch to 5K. When I downloaded it, I thought the app would actually get me off the couch. Apparently, that's not how it worked.
Yeah, that's not how apps work. Truth and advertising issues there.
That's right. I have to sue that company. Definitely go to thinksaveretire.com. Read the article by Steve Adcock, A Guide to Developing New Year's Resolutions That Actually Work in 4 Steps. It is a very interesting article. Those statistics alone kind of opened my eyes. I thought love and sex and everything would be a little higher than that, but apparently not.
Yeah, but at least people want to read books.
They do. And actually, books are above love, and people actually want to read before they learn a new skill or hobby. So, hey, whatever.
There you
That's
go.
Good. All right. We have coming up Andrea Joy from Saving Joyfully. Now on to the interview. This interview is brought to you by our incredible sponsor, JRC Insurance Group. Don't put off getting the life insurance that you and your family need, and don't miss out getting it for the best price possible. Visit JRC Insurance Group for a quick and easy quote today by clicking on the link in our show notes or on our website. Welcome to the show, Andrea Joy from SavingJoyfully.com, a website dedicated to bringing you tips and advice to help you save money and reach your goals of financial freedom while encouraging you to live a more joyful life. Welcome to the show, Andrea. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm good.
We love the website. It looks great, and the articles are wonderful. And we'd like to get a little more information maybe on your background and where you get some ideas for your articles.
Sure, not a problem. I started Saving Joyfully as a way to help others to save more money and make more money online. A lot of what I share in my articles are things that I actually picked up along the way that have helped me. My money story is basically the reason that I started my website. I've been through years of debt from not managing my finances properly. So I like to share things that have helped me work through those difficult times, ways that I've found to make more money on the side to help stretch my budget.
Other than blogging, do you have a side hustle?
I used to have a lot more than I do now that I'm blogging. I put so much time into my blog now that I don't actually have a whole lot of time for other things. prior to that, I did a lot of online surveys. I would do mystery shopping. I would do a lot of different things that would help me make money. And I love freebies. So any of the websites that offer freebies, I'm all about that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do see a section. You have an entire section on your website for freebies.
Yes, I love them. And all of the ones that I mention on there are ones that I have actually used too.
That's awesome. I mean, I see articles of how I celebrate my birthday week, how I earn free gift cards. That's what everybody wants to see. It's awesome. And
you should be there for my birthday week. It is amazing.
We'll have to let us know when that is, so
yes.
We can all travel. And one other thing I like about your site is that you have a whole section on inspiration, which is wonderful because it's nice to see bloggers come from the heart and try to inspire people. It's not just black and white numbers and charts and graphs and everything like that. It's nice to see articles where bloggers are actually coming from the heart and kind of exposing themselves and saying, this is me and this is what I want to write about. Could you go into maybe how you come up with those articles?
That is just the easiest thing for me to write on, how I'm feeling and what I'm really thinking. So when I am struggling to come up with something to write, I typically search within on what I'm really dealing with at the moment or what's really on my heart, and that's what I write. And it just flows much easier than anything else. I've been told in the past that, you want to stay on topic and whatever, but honestly, this has worked a lot better for me, just sharing what I really believe and what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and it really seems to work for you. That's wonderful.
Well, thank you.
That's great. And when did you start the blog?
February of 2018.
Okay, so you're a fairly new blogger like myself.
Oh, yes. And I'm still learning every day.
Oh, yeah, there's always something to learn. They don't warn you about that. Everyone sells, the courses and makes blogging look easy, but there's a lot of work.
Yes, and I can't stand clickbait titles and all of those posts that are like, I've made this much money this month. I'm sorry, but I'm not really fond of those.
I'm not either. And I read one recently and I start to worry maybe I'm doing something wrong because I read one recently where someone's making like $12,000 a month with less traffic than I'm receiving. And you start wondering, well, are they telling the truth or am I just doing something, wrong?
Yeah, and I think that's why I call them clickbait titles, because half the time I really don't believe it. It's possible, I'm sure, but it's really hard to believe that these people are making that kind of money, at least, as new as some of them are.
Unless they're selling like a course or something, I find it hard to believe. And, I think the business model with most bloggers is we're going to get personal finance traffic to prove we can sell. But we're really going to make our money by selling the dream of blogging to other people.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I do have a blogger that I follow that is a professional blogger that really inspires me and I really like. And his story is actually, he's very honest about how hard it was when he started. He does sell courses and that, but what he shares has been very beneficial to me.
Who's that?
Darren Rouse. Pro blogger.
Yeah.
And I love his podcast. So I'm a faithful listener.
Yes, his accent's nice too.
Yes, it is.
So what are you doing currently to get the blog out there and to get found?
My main thing is Twitter. I've tried many things in the past. Honestly, my SEO has been good lately, and I'm really surprised. Like, it's been actually my top refer is search engines right now.
Wow, that's great.
I mean, that's amazing to me because when I first started, I never, ever saw that happening. But Twitter and Facebook would be the second for me.
Are you using any SEO tools or is it just happening?
Yes. I've been using the free Yoast for a while, but I actually upgraded to the other Yoast, the paid version recently. And I've actually noticed a significant increase since I did the paid version.
Oh, wow.
And what's different? I mean, what have you noticed different between the paid version and the free version that you have to do setup wise in the software that might have made a difference? It
tends to do certain things for you from what I understand. I think if I had installed it from the beginning, I wouldn't have known the difference. But now that I've had the free version and I've upgraded to this one, I've started to notice just an increase in my traffic from the search engines. I can't explain it necessarily. I'm so new to blogging. It's really hard to understand. I just know there's a huge difference since I started it. And it's been probably a little over a month now.
So it's basically in the background that things happen in the pro version.
Yes. So I'm still learning it all.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could explain to you exactly what it's doing, but I know it's been good so far.
Now, you're super active on Twitter.
Yes.
And I know there's so many different approaches to Twitter. We were talking a little bit about this before the show. Some people only follow people they want to follow. Some people, are follow for follow. Where do you fit in on Twitter? What's your Twitter strategy look like?
I typically follow any bloggers that follow me. I use a tool called Twitter Unfollowers to monitor who unfollows me, and I do the same just to prevent my numbers from getting outrageous because they were doing that for a while. I just try to support others. I like to encourage other bloggers because I know it's a struggle being a new blogger. I will follow others that are not bloggers as well. There are definitely ones that I will not follow back, and those are kind of the obvious like bots and fake accounts that I try to avoid. But otherwise, that's pretty much my strategy. And I love sharing other people's content too. So
I think that's huge. Yeah, I think that's huge on Twitter is sharing other people's content. I think being a community, especially in the blogging community, finding that small community and sharing each other's content instead of competing is huge.
Yes, I agree. And that's the thing, community. How, if you do follow and follow and you have very few people following you, how is that a community? I mean, there's nothing there. You're not following anyone. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah. And what would you say to some people? So the counterpoint to that is, some bloggers would say, well, if I follow everybody who follows me, then, I'm going to look less credible or less like a celebrity on social media, or I'm not going to be able to keep track of what's going on my Twitter feed. And I don't want my Twitter feed being too hectic. What would you say to those people?
I'd say lists will become your best friend. Start making lists of people that are supportive of you, other bloggers that you really want to follow, and you can look at those lists to help you focus only on the people that you are trying to support. And that'll change depending on who interacts with you more on Twitter and who you want to add to those lists. But that's an easy way to pay attention to who you're trying to focus on when you've got 8,000, 10,000 people following you or more. Does that answer your question?
It does, yeah. And Twitter lists are great. You can make them and you can put in your fans. You can put in other bloggers. You can put in people who maybe you're interested in seeing their posts, but you don't necessarily want to follow them. So
Yeah.
you can put them into a list so you can keep, tabs on what they're doing without actually following them.
Yeah. And can I say, I really don't care if I look like a celebrity to anyone. So if they don't like the fact that I'm following too many people, oh well.
Even some of the bigger, maybe not some of the top celebrities, but even a lot of celebrities are also follow for follow on social media as well. So there's just two different mindsets, I guess. Some people they view social media like building a community, and they feel that you can't build a community unless you're, interacting and engaging with each other. And then I guess other people just view it more like a way to, almost like an RSS feed for their blog or website.
Yeah.
I just want to weigh in there and say I do want to look like a celebrity on Twitter because that just makes me look so much better than my real life. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to look like a celebrity. There's no way I could possibly look like a celebrity, even on Twitter.
I don't know. I'll fangirl you a few times.
Bring me my grapes and my drink. So what other than Twitter, do you find any other channel of social media even useful to you?
Instagram to some extent, but it can also be really hard. That's the one that I have the most follow, unfollow on, and it's really hard to understand why. But honestly, most of the people that have gone over to my Instagram and followed me and supported me on there all came from Twitter. So the majority of them that, like my pictures and comment on things, they're all my friends from Twitter.
That's funny because a lot of times you find that, Twitter people aren't Instagram people and Instagram people aren't Twitter people. So you're actually seeing high rate of crossover.
Exactly, it surprised me too. Facebook, I used to be always on Facebook personally, never on Twitter. Then when I started the blog, I found that Twitter was the one that worked the best for me and that was the most useful for my blog. Facebook, I don't find the same with. So I get views from it. People will view my content, but interactions, you don't see a lot of it.
Do you think that's a function of blogs just not being popular in Facebook? Or do you think Facebook is maybe the popularity of the platforms waned a little bit?
I guess I'm really not sure. Sometimes I've heard that it's something to do with Facebook's algorithms, but I don't know because I still get views from it. I just don't get a lot of interaction. And maybe it's the fact that I interact more on Twitter than I do on Facebook. It's hard to say.
I've talked to a few celebrities and they're all basically turning away or giving up on Facebook. They like Instagram, they like Twitter, but they're just saying Facebook's become too political. People that's there just there to engage in, politic, nonsense. And so they're kind of turning away from it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Personally, I've used Facebook a lot. I've used Instagram a lot in the past, and I've abandoned them because I see no interaction whatsoever with them. I mean, once I started using Twitter, it was like, full steam ahead because there's so much interaction, more interaction with Twitter than the other two social media channels that I've used. And talking to my kids, they're like, you're on Facebook? You're trying to use Facebook? What is that? That's so old and retro. I'm like, retro? Are you kidding me? And these are teenagers and they want nothing to do with Facebook. So if you're trying to reach a younger audience, Facebook is not where you are. Not the personal finance bloggers are trying to reach younger audiences, but celebrities and stuff, if they're trying to reach a younger audience, they're definitely not going to go at Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
They're going to be on Snapchat. They're going to be on those type of social media platforms, Instagram, stuff like that, and Twitter. But yeah, I've noticed Twitter is huge, with blogs and the interaction. Now, I don't know whether it's just an interaction between bloggers because that's huge. The blog, community. It's like we bloggers definitely interact with each other, but how much interaction is there with readers?
I think there's quite a bit.
I think there's some. Yeah, I think there's quite a bit also, but I think there's definitely a lot of interaction between bloggers, which is huge as well, because you not only learn as a community, you grow as a community by sharing everything, but then you also have your readers on there as well, which is great. And I think it's more of an interactive platform. Personally.
Yes, definitely.
But you have to make it interactive. We talked earlier, you teach people how to treat you and you teach your audience how to interact with you. So if you're just going on social media and all you're doing is posting your own stuff and, dropping a link to your post and bouncing off the platform, then you're going to train your audience, the audience that you have, to not be interactive. If you're going on social media and you're saying, hey, give me an idea for a blog post, or what questions do you have, or commenting on the people you follow, commenting on their pictures or things that are going on in their day, then they're going to interact with you and you're going to increase the engagement. Wouldn't you agree? You
have to be a person. Yeah.
It's building a trust with them too, because they grow to like you and trust you from the interactions they have with you too. I think that's really huge.
That's why you'll see a lot of television shows and everything. And not to keep going back to shows, but I think, if there's anybody who knows how to use social media to their benefit, it's got to be celebrities, right? I mean, because they are major influencers on social media. So you kind of look at like the celebrities and book authors and look at what they're doing, right? They're saying, hey, let's live tweet when the show's going on. Right. Yeah. At the end of their show, they're saying, hey, follow me. If you ever watch Tosh.0, right, he always says, hey, follow me on Twitter, follow me on social media. So, you have to engage your audience and you create that interaction.
Exactly. And I've definitely had interactions with those who are not bloggers as well. But, I love interacting with bloggers. It doesn't matter to me if you're a blogger or if you're just somebody that reads. It's all important to me.
Do you have a strategy, a strict schedule then of when you're on Twitter, when you post things, or do you just go on your feed, see what's going on, and then post?
Since I started in February, it's been whenever I had time that I would try to do that. It's becoming more of that. I'm having to develop a schedule for myself as far as creating posts and things like that, because it's consuming my life. So I've been a little bit better about it recently at like stepping back a little bit and creating specific times for things.
Yeah, and I kind of feel you have to do that. You have to have because I'm going to say a work-life balance. Not that blogging is a job, but blogging is a job. It's a job that hopefully will someday pay you some money if it's not doing so already. But yeah, you have to schedule time and pencil that in your schedule to do. And it becomes difficult. It does become consuming. And then not only is there the job of coming up with the article, writing the article, proofreading the article, posting it, and then publicizing it on social media in a way that doesn't seem self-righteous, but then you have to come up with 2 or 3 of those a week.
Yeah.
But then, there's your everyday interacting on social media as your blogger. I don't think you can separate your blogger persona on Twitter from your personal persona. I think it kind of has to be one and the same. I mean, you do hold some things back, but I do think you kind of have to be your personal self on Twitter as your blogger handle, because people want to get to know you. I mean, what are you going to be? Just this person who writes articles and then says, "Here, see me now," like a robot? No, they have to get to know you personally in order to want to read your stuff.
And that's one thing I picked up from Darren Rouse from the beginning when I started listening to the Pro Blogger podcast. He talked a lot about how important it was to be yourself and to put your face with your website. He said it's a challenge for a lot of people to do that, but it's really helpful. So he kind of challenged people, if you are willing to do that, it is actually better for your blog.
What are you thinking, Michael?
Yeah, I agree. I actually have 2 Twitter accounts. I have one Twitter account for the blog, and that's more just keep it professional, just do the blog posts and financial stuff. And then I also have my personal Twitter account, which I also share blog stuff, but then I'll talk about, Star Wars and zombies and fun stuff as well as financial stuff. And my personal Twitter account has like 23,000 followers, and my blog Twitter account's been stuck at like 3,000 Twitter followers for, over a year.
I have a hard time separating which is which with you. So I kind of think of you as the 20,000 that you have.
Yeah, because nobody's interested in just the blog account. And maybe if I worked it a little bit harder, but I thought, well, if people want to follow my blog, but they don't care about Star Wars or zombies or kind of stuff, they can have just a professional version of me. And enough people are saying, hey, yeah, either they like the zombie and Star Wars stuff enough they tolerate the financial stuff, or they like the financial stuff enough that they tolerate the other. I don't know. I can't think that there's that many people who are digging the hybrid mashups, but if they are, I'd love to have them.
I think it sets you apart, though, which is a really good thing. There's so much out there that's so much the same. You want something that is strictly you.
Yeah, you have to be yourself, because the reality is there are probably way too many blogs out there, because it's a really low barrier to entry, business.
Mm-hmm.
You have an internet connection, you have a credit card, you can be up and making a blog for, I don't know, less than $100 probably. So it's a low barrier to entry. So there's so many people in it. I think Rockstar Finance has something like 2,000 blogs, listed in their directory.
Yeah.
And that's just the ones listed there, right? So, I mean, if you're not standing out and doing things different and hustling, I mean, someone else is gunning for your spot.
Yeah. And there's so many blog posts out there. I mean, great ones too, that never get read because they're so similar to something else, or they appear so similar to something else.
Yeah. And that's the nice thing about social media too, though, is, compared to search engines, Google is a fickle monster, but, that's why social media, I think, is so important, especially for a new blogger like ourselves. Social media is so important to get your content out early when Google's still deciding, hey, do we rank your version of debt snowball versus debt avalanche, or someone else's version of debt snowball versus avalanche.
Very true.
To wrap this up, other than savingjoyfully.com, where can people find you?
Mostly you can find me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter a lot, Saving Joyfully on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram as Saving Joyfully. And I have a Facebook, savingjoyfully.com.
Well, we'd like to thank you for sitting down with us today and sharing your knowledge and experience and wisdom on social media, and as well as sharing your site, savingjoyfully.com, with us. We definitely love the site, and we love the insights and freebies and posts that you provide to us. And we love seeing you on Twitter every day when we log on. So it definitely was a pleasure for us to sit down with you today.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. And it's good talking with you, and I appreciate you both.
All right, so we have a few takeaways from this episode about New Year's resolutions. One is going to be, I am definitely falling in the 8 people that remain on their couch in February. The next one will be that the Couch to 5K app does not actually pull you off the couch. And that your New Year's resolution should be achievable, targeted, that you should reflect on the previous year, that they should be problem solving and not just vanity resolutions, and that you should give yourself mini achievements, gamify it. Give yourself these little achievements to unlock along the way and celebrate. In Michael's case, give yourself a cheat day, basically like a cheat day, but give yourself these mini achievements and make yourself happy along the way. Because if it's going to be, if all you're seeing is the finish line and it's so far away, you're not going to reach it in time, and you're just going to your motivation is going to go downhill. You need to have these many achievements. But the new year is coming at you, and you have to get, I'm going to say in shape, but that's not the word I want to use, because that's not even the first resolution. I still can't believe it. And I'm so glad that saving money is the first resolution. That is awesome, people. Hopefully, again, in 2019, we'll have to get that statistic chart again for 2019 and see if it can stay on top. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I think chances are it probably will. It's probably always going to be on the forefront of people's minds.
If you have any New Year's resolutions you want to share with us, go to twomoneyguys.com, look for this episode, and put them in the comments section. We would also like to thank our sponsor, JRC Insurance Group. Again, if you're looking for quality life insurance at the best prices, give JRC Insurance Group a call at 866-790-6494. Again, 866-790-6494. Tell them the Two Money Guys sent you. They will get you the best possible price on your life insurance needs. All right, that does it for this episode. We hope you learned something about New Year's resolutions. We had a ball with Andrea Joy. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year to everybody.